Welcome back from that break. Now let's get into the discussion and let's take you through Kogi State and what has been happening and the current administration of Governor Usman ODODO. With me in the studio is the special advisor to the governor on media, the governor of Kogi State, and he is Ismaila Isa. He joins me right live in the studio. It's glad to have you. My pleasure.
Thank you, Messi.
Good. Let's begin by asking. Supreme Court affirmed your principal, Usman ODODO, the duly elected governor of Kogi State. And so, talk to us what his administration has been.
Well, I do not believe it is the Supreme Court that affirmed him. It's the people's vote that affirmed him. All we went through was the normal legal procedures, which usually will come after an election. So there is room for disputations, and then we went through all of that, and like you said, it's been affirmed. But really, the real affirmation actually came from the people who voted on the 11th of November 2023 for him to be elected as governor of the state.
Yes.
So, like you asked, the governor has continued on the trajectory of growth and development, which we inherited from the immediate past administration, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of women and youth inclusion, in terms of health, education, social welfare, and promoting peace, unity, and security of lives and property in the state.
Okay. So, yeah, your governor, you know, we saw the achievements of, that was months back though, we saw the list of his achievements 100 days into office. And we talked about, he touched about the designation of 800 hectares of farmlands. He talked about education, but what is not so clear he talked about is the when he included the meetings he had with joint meeting of the governor of Kogi, Ondo, Taraba, with the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. And he also mentioned meeting with the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhnu. So there are a lot of controversies around that axis. Are those ones the achievements inclusive? How are they supposed to be? How are they supposed to make it to the achievement list?
Well, this matter has been long been arrested, Messi. But if you insist on knowing why those lists were put out, it was not a list of achievement, but activities within the timeline of the administration, which then was 100 days. So they were not achievement, but rather they were activities. Okay. So, and I'm sure that those who put the list out did not say they were achievements. But having said that, the strategic meeting that His Excellency has had with both the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security and of course the NSA, they were not meetings that were held just for the fun of it. They were strategic meetings at the time to address the biting food insecurity that was really affecting the economy and the well-being of households in Nigeria. And Kogi, we are in a very strategic position because of the location of the state, bordered by 9 states plus the FCT, where our farmers have had to ensure that they are consistently being supported by the government with the opening of farmlands, about 10,000 hectares of farmlands that we had to open up, and with the support of the federal government, we've ensured that all those farmlands were tractorized, and then all the implements and all the seedlings, fertilizers, and all the support needed for those farmlands to be activated were enabled partly with the support of the federal government, which has provided us, I think from the last count, well over 50,000 tractors of fertilizers that we've been distributing to farmers in the state. The last time was about 25 trucks of fertilizers, and we receive about 50 if you want to go by what we received in the last 10 months from the federal government, and that has indeed supported us. In terms of the meeting with the NSA, you also recall that Kogi State has also endured some security challenges, and then we consistently want to overhaul our security architecture, and that has also ensured that we engage with all stakeholders, including the office of the NSA, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, and all the other security eggheads in the country, to ensure that we do not sit in our comfort zone and then ensure that or wait for people to come and attack us. What we've done in the state in the last 10 months without sounding immodest, Kogi State is the only state that has consistently taken the fight to criminal elements right in their hideouts in the bush, and that's what we've been doing consistently. So without the support of the NSA's office and the military and other paramilitary organizations, that would have been impossible.
Okay, yeah, viewers, at this point our phone line are open for you to call in to join the conversation. But then tell me, what phase has Kogi State taken that is different from the previous administration since the your principal assumed office?
Well, what we've done is to embark on what we call an advanced new direction agenda. It is a government of continuation and consolidation. In ensuring that everything that was done in the past 8 years before the current administration came in, we were able to up the game substantially by ensuring that all the ongoing projects that were initiated by the immediate past administration were being completed. As I speak to you, all the major road projects in the state that were initiated by the immediate past administration have been completed.
All of it?
Yes, some of them waiting to be commissioned by January, when we'll be 1 year in office. 2 of them that are very significant are the 2 roads in Lokoja, the state capital. One over 9 kilometers of road from the Zone 8 roundabout to former Kaduna Junction, now known as JIB Junction or roundabout, and there's also one from the same Zone 8 roundabout going through the assembly complex up to the place called Crusher, which is a very significant development zone in the state capital right now. So we've completed those projects. That one is over 5 kilometers. So there are other road projects going on in about 8 local government areas. We are doing almost 100 kilometers, some of which were initiated by the immediate past administration. We are completing all of them before 27th of January. We are also starting another phase of rural roads, about 65 kilometers of rural roads, to connect our farmers and farming communities to off-takers of their produce, so that we don't have issue of incessant wastages of farm produce, and also the way that off-takers also take advantage of our farmers. We are also building storage facilities in some strategic locations within the state. So there has been deliberate attempt to maybe increase the decibel of development activities in the state in the last 10 months. Okay,
now let's talk about security. Aside the fact that national security has been you know, a thorn on Nigerians' flesh, the federal government are trying as much as they can to curb the menace. We cannot deny the fact that Kogi State, you know, travelers barely travel with their, you know, with relaxed mind due to insecurity in Kogi axis and the major roads. What steps have your principal taken in addressing the security challenges?
We've taken quite some very bold steps in terms of improving on the security of lives and property in the state. When His Excellency came in, within the first 100 days, he ensured the provision of vehicles to security agencies in the state. I think over 100 of them. Just recently, we also provided another set of over 100 of Hilux vehicles. We've also been able to employ or recruit vigilante groups across communities in the state. The government also approved the recruitment of hunters, about 50 each in every local government area. And just recently, there has been another increase of recruitment of local hunters, some of them that are very used to the peculiarity of the terrains where they live and where some of these criminals operate. In addition to that, the government has also provided motorbikes for all of the vigilante group members, and also provided even buses for them. And within the metropolis, we've also launched the quick response operation and the metropolitan response services, in ensuring that the government can respond to maybe issue of maybe security challenges within the metropolis. In the respective communities, what we've done in overhauling the security architecture in our communities to ensure that there is now a deliberate nexus of ensuring that community members become more active in providing intelligence to the local hunters, vigilante groups, who are of course being complementing the efforts of the regular security agencies in all of our local government areas in the state.
Okay, then we know that with the past governance or government, the Kogi State has recorded high level of not caring about the civil servants, and apart from that, there's been high record of lack of transparency in government. I want to understand what your principal is doing differently in addressing these issues. But before then, I would love to hear what who joins us have to say. Hello, good evening. It's glad to have you join us. Oh, we lost that caller. Please talk to us about these issues that has, given or placed Kogi State on the high record when it comes to lack of transparency and, looking out for civil servants.
Well, I will not agree that Kogi is on has a high record of lack of transparency in governance. From the immediate past administration, at least I'm privy to some information as to the records of government which has been published largely in major national dailies, especially the records as it relates to the governance of the local government areas in the state, where the government has had some challenges with respect to payment. It will be recalled that before the coming of the immediate past administration, I was part of the administration before the immediate past administration. The payment to workers in terms of percentages was so abysmally low, to the extent that sometimes the civil servants, especially at the local government level, were receiving less than 25%.
Did you say receiving less than, or weren't receiving salary? Because we heard about, we came across a time where the president had to release some money, some amount of money for the local government, Kogi State civil servants to be paid off. So.
No, there were no records of months where the local governments were not paid, to my mind. But what was happening was that the percentages of payment were abysmally low because of the fact that maybe accruals from federal allocation was low and was not commensurate with the number of civil servants, especially at the local government level. At the state level, there was never any issue of non-payment of salaries or even payment of percentages.
All right, give me a minute to hear what this caller has to say. Oh, we lost that call. I'll sincerely apologize. You might have to call us back. Please, I'm listening.
So with respect to the immediate past administration, they were able to increase the percentage payment at the local government level up to 85% at the time the government was leaving office on January 27, 2024.
I mean, Mr. Ishmael, do you have facts regards
of
to...
Of course I do.
Okay.
I am in the system.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Oh, glad to have you join us.
Yes, my name is Yusuf.
Okay, Yusuf.
I'm from a Kogi State, from Angola local government.
All right.
Yes, my problem with that, my local government, I don't have that for so many years.
You don't have what?
So I don't know, light.
Oh, okay.
Light,
okay.
Yeah. For so many years. I don't know what for the... Because I want to beg the governor to try and see what he can do in Angola local government.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for your contribution. So, yes, I was asking, you have facts to back all of this up?
Of course, I have access to some of this information. Yes, so with the current administration, within less than 6 months in office, the salaries at the local government level was taken to 100%, and the government has ensured consistency in the payment of salaries between the 21st and the 25th of every month since the government came into office. And that is keeping faith with what I said about continuing the trajectory of the immediate past administration, but building on it in a way that is markedly seen as an improvement on what has been done before now.
All right. If you can hear me, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. Glad to have you join us on the show. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is from
Obatunde, please turn down the volume of your, is it your TV set or your car or something? All right, sorry. Please ensure that when you call, you are not in a noisy environment so we could hear you clearly. Then someone talked about electricity, and one would wonder, isn't it curious that Kogi State cannot generate light of its own?
Kogi State is one of the few states that has enacted law on establishing an electricity market and electricity generation company right now in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, the National Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, has just notified the state that its services was going to be suspended in the state, thereby giving way for the commencement of an electricity generation company and the electricity market in the state. You understand? So before now, I'm sure what the person is talking about did not happen yesterday. Before now, electricity generation was not within the purview of states. It was in the exclusive list. So it is just recently that the federal government, passed a law that now enables states to be able to generate power. And I can assure you, by this time next year, I'm not sure this person will come with the same complaint, because Kogi State will be able to generate its power and will be able to provide power to every home and ensure that a transparent and foolproof tariff is implemented in the state, and there will be no case of any community complaining of blackout or having no power. All right,
Mr. Ismaila, thank you so much for your thought. But then, before you go, I want to ask you, there is, we know of the current saga that is going on between your principal successor and his predecessor rather, and the EFCC. So I want you to talk to us about this development, talk to us about what is actually going on. Why, in the first instance, we saw your principal, obstructing the EFCC from arresting him, and Nigerians want to know why was that. And again, we wonder why he didn't, accompany him to this time to the courts.
Well, like I have maintained in all of my interviews, when a matter is in court, it is not in my place as a communications expert and a scholar to comment on it. Otherwise, I will be betraying my office, my student, and even my principal, that I'm not competent to do this job. So I won't be able to comment on the matter that is in court. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you so much, and we shall bring you back to talk about it. So while we are looking up to the Supreme Court and while we are keeping fingers crossed to see the outcome of this whole drama and saga, we hope that when it's finally over, you definitely have something to talk to us about. Yeah. But before then, let me say a very big thank you for being with me in the studio this evening. It's been wonderful having you.
I was going to make
around.
A point about our palliatives. If without the support of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, we would not have been able to sustain our palliative to the people of our state, going now into the fourth quarter that we're going to be giving to our people.
But then I also want your government, that of your principal's government, to also look inward about creating job opportunities, employment, because you're not going to keep giving people palliative for the rest of their lives. You teach people how to fish instead of giving them fish. So rooms for job opportunities should be created.
It's been created. We are creating an industrial park in our state. Very soon, Zaria Airport, International Airport, will come on stream. There's a whole lot of things happening in Kogi. If you go to our state now, it's like it's like a walk zone.
Of course, I would like to visit. I want to see teams for myself, because
maybe I should use this opportunity to invite you for the Kogi International Carnival, which is taking place from 1st December to 7th of December.
Oh, beautiful!
So you come and see some very beautiful.
No problem. I want to come and confirm if all you've said to me here today is really true, and
you have to get
my facts. All right, we are at this point. We call it a day. But we're bringing you up next is this Japa syndrome, because we are looking at our economy. Few weeks back, the president has called on Nigerians in diaspora to come home. The president is saying you should return home, come and invest in Nigeria. But the question there is, what is the environment like? Is it a conducive environment to invest in? You get to find out, because we get to speak with Senator Victor Ume, who is the committee chairman, Senate on Committee on Diaspora. So he will talk us through the Japa syndrome, and so you see and compare, and to know if you're coming back or you want to stay back. But that will be right after this short break. Just stay with us.